we got inspired because King Solomon tried to split some kids.
Yeah.
And so I got a big sword.
He seemed wise.
He seemed really wise. So we're going to split some kids.
We're going to cut them in half.
Welcome to The Gathering Greenhouse, a podcast to help us grow together. I'm Steve.
And my name is Andrew.
Oh, I'm John.
And the DJ today is DJ Matt on the ones and twos.
John wasn't ready for the trick question of introducing yourself there.
Well, I'm trying to get us to more of like
it's
a
been a long
legit
week.
pattern of starting a podcast versus, David just trying to constantly throw a wrench in the
What if he
In
actually
the rhythm.
threw a
throw a
wrench.
wrench?
Might do that.
It's like dodgeball. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball,
Yeah.
Dodgeball is a game that I don't think gets played enough anymore.
Yeah. I wonder,
Did you play dodgeball at your camp this week?
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
conference. And our
Well,
teams actually played, and we got a win. I won't say how we got the win, but we got one win.
Headshots.
No. Forfeit. But we got a win.
A win is a win.
Well, it seems like churches still play dodgeball, right? But schools maybe have gone away from it. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard rumors that schools really aren't playing dodgeball.
And the biggest
Dayton
difference.
Christian does.
They
I know
do.
They're
They
still
do.
into dodgeball.
When I was a kid, I don't know about you guys, and even in youth group, we used the kickballs of dodgeball.
Oh, yeah.
Now they use those little rhino
No one
soft.
can get hurt.
And I'm like, no, I mean,
can't throw those as hard, which is the best part.
We even had like the small version of like the Foursquare kickball.
Yeah.
It was rubber. It had
Yeah.
like the texture. And if you got some spin on that hit your skin, you had a rash. It was great.
When you were little, did you try to throw the dodgeball at your gym teacher,
just like on purpose.
on purpose? No, we tried to do that a lot. And we're probably like, it was probably very obvious because now that I have kids and I see how obvious it is when they try to get something past us. But we would try to throw it, but he would I remember he could just catch it one-handed and we were so amazed. But we were so little, it was probably we couldn't even throw it that hard.
That
And
hard, yeah.
he could totally tell we were trying to throw it at him, so he was just catching it.
So one time in youth group, we were having like a dodgeball day, and we were playing on this indoor. It was like a mini indoor basketball court, and it had a chain link fence around it. So it was like a cage.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun, but it came down at the end. It was me versus 3 people on the other team, and I was I've never had such a great athletic moment in my life.
Were they your brothers?
No, no, it was.
Well, you don't have 3 brothers, so it couldn't have been. It would have to be 2
of
of your
them.
brothers
2 of
and a
them.
sister.
And a sister. No, this was at a big church youth group. I don't even remember if they were there, but this is the best part. I was living it was felt like slow motion. I caught the ball, got one guy out, hit the second, and so it's down to just me and this other guy, and I don't have any ball, so I'm backing up because he's advancing, and I bump up against the chain link fence, and there must have been a hook because it latched into my pocket, and when I ran forward, it ripped my pocket all the way down to the hem of my
Yes.
shorts, and so it's just big open flappiness, and I lost. So it went from being
You
"I'm
would've
doing
won,
this,
man."
I'm gonna do this to
Yeah, you would have.
I lost, and everybody saw my
Clearly you
underwear.
Everyone's
So,
getting hyped, and all of a sudden it's
Yeah,
I feel bad
yeah.
for John now.
So this dodgeball tournament you took part in, was it church to church? So did some teams have more?
No, you were only allowed 6 on your team.
Okay.
So we had a team of 6 on ours, and then we were playing other churches. And so it was this big tournament. I think we we played 4 games before we got eliminated. But
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
a lot of games,
dodgeball is
right?
intense, especially when you're in a gym and you have all these games going. And we were standing up in the rafters where the track is and watching. I mean,
fun.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
There's always that group that takes it it's always high school boys, and they take it super serious, and they always seem to play a group that tends to be just middle school girls.
Yeah.
And it just they don't chill.
They-
No,
And
well, that's the thing is
awful.
there is no chill. I mean, there's still those boys when it comes to dodgeball.
Make them cry.
Yeah. Hey, you entered this contest.
Don't be a jerk.
Yeah, so you just got back from a youth conference.
A youth conference. But before we get into that,
Yeah.
I want to do something fun.
Okay, let's do it.
Because all 3 of us have worked in youth ministry. And so I figured before we start talking about this conference that's kind of like a camp, let's go around and share the funniest youth camp moment, or like one that like sticks out in your head, just like a funny moment? Like what's something that happened at a youth camp that was just hilarious? So I'll go first since I'm posing the question. So I'm gonna say real quick what my favorite was from this past week was they had boat races. It was like make your own cardboard boats.
Yeah.
And our girls, our boys didn't want to do it, so our girls went out there and were creating a cardboard boat. And there was a lot of drama building this boat. And like there may have been some tears shed like in the hour time frame we had to build this
boat waterproof
boat. I mean, it was cardboard, and so they had to go around the pond, the fountain. But it was funny because by the time they got back in, they were like best friends again. So like it went from like excitement to like all this aggravation to them like going around, and the boat was completely falling apart. And they actually won their heat to then they were best friends. So that was my favorite moment this week. But best moment youth camp history was I was at a camp, and back then the tradition was you got to sneak out, and the security guards wanted you because then it gave them something to do. Like it was a game, like cat and mouse. And so there's one year out in the field by the boys' dorm, there's this massive light they put in by the basketball court. And so like the goal was, could you get out to the field, turn it on, and get back to the boys' dorm before you're caught? There's this one kid who was like talking all this game. He was going to do it. Like he's like athletic, and he was like talking trash to the security guards. The night he ran out, he got out there, and there was a couple of security guards chasing him, and he turned it on. And as he's running back, there's a guy from my church actually. He played football, and he actually played Division I at a college as a linebacker. And out of nowhere, you see this kid, he's just going like this, just cheering, like, and all of a sudden you just see Matt just come out of nowhere and completely just like, not clothesline him, but like just demolish. And it was so funny because all of us were on the deck like, go. And then like we saw it, but he didn't see it, just Matt coming because he's just cheering. And we were all just like, no. And then it was awesome. But there was a lot of stories, of fun stories of kids nowadays. You know, you can't do that because kids ruin it by doing dumb things.
You're not allowed to like tackle kids anymore.
No, that's the thing is like nowadays you can't do that stuff because
camp used to be more fun.
Camp used to be more fun.
Yeah.
So what are some of your guys' favorite camp stories?
So I got one that so there's a youth group staying at our church right now.
Yeah.
So, and the reason they're staying here is because the kid that's leading it, he's a youth pastor now, was in my youth group. So
does that make you feel old?
Oh yeah, but I love
It's
seeing
awesome.
that. That's
It's cool.
like that's what you want those long lasting connections and people to go into ministry in your youth group. So, but he was one of my favorite students. He was in like an era where I had like, you'll have waves of like students where you get along with really well, or like they have the right personalities where like they're real outgoing and like will do anything. He was in the era where like I had the most students who were like crazy and wild and just like were just so fun to do events with because they were like we just have like nonstop fun with them.
Right.
We would go to youth events and like my group would just kind of like take over because I had so many extroverts and so many kids who just like wanted to be involved in everything. But he's also like a big time like sleep talker. So there were like, and he would go to like every youth event that we do. So there was one year where we didn't do camps, but we did mission trips over the summer. So that was kind of like our camp experience as we go do a week-long mission trip. We're all sleeping in a church together and going out and serving. But of like him waking up in the middle of the night and like, like talking some type of gibberish and like mixed with like a story about his mom or something, you just like, and you can't talk reason to someone like that. And so there were like so many stories of him like sleepwalking and doing crazy things.
That's awesome.
He actually, like one of my favorite ones, he actually jumped out of his house second story into a bush and ran down the street to his like neighbors and like banged on their, like woke them up, and like they told him to go home. He went home. I guess he had maybe woke up in went home. He came back and was like all cut up and was like went and like told his parents what happened, and they're all like, "Go back to sleep, Tom." Like, they thought he was.
They already knew.
They thought like was like a story about him. Like he's just sleepwalking, telling them that he jumped out of his window and went to his neighbor's house, but he had actually just done that.
That's a whole nother level of sleepwalking. You can jump out of a second floor
jumped
and
out.
still be asleep.
Yes, right.
All right, John.
All right. I'm going to tell two because they're like tied and it was the same trip.
Okay.
So, one of the worst things about being a leader at camp is the fact that you want to sleep, and the kids seem to not ever let that happen, at least easily. And so the room next to ours, there were two of our students who were in there, and they would always cause problems up all night. And so we got them both back individually. The first one we got, I actually have a video of it, so I'm going to try to get that here. You can watch it, but he had fallen asleep, and I walked into his room, and I just like went while he was sleeping, and he sat up, and I have never seen a look of terror like his in that. So I'll try to get that in so you can see it. Just
my favorite game is always like, I'm gonna wake you up early because you kept me up all night.
Exactly. That's always fun too. And so then his roommate, we like told him we were going to get him back, and he like freaked out. And so for like all the nights until the last night, he thought we were going to like prank him back in the middle of the night. So he like home aloned his dorm. He had like traps on the floor, and found out later he was sleeping under his bed and had like done his pillows because he was so confident that we were going to get him back. That he spent like 3 or 4 nights sleeping under his bed at camp, which I think is just kind of hilarious.
It's like you didn't have to retaliate. He
did it to himself. Yeah. But we did get him back. And so it was like the last night, and he must have been just super tired. So there was like an hour before dinner, where you could go like shower and get ready and stuff. He went and took a nap, and he was like out hard, like passed out. So we sent all the other kids to dinner, and we woke him up and said, "Hey man, like, you're late for chapel. You missed breakfast." And we thought that he had slept from like 5 p.m. until the next morning. And so he like got up, grabbed his Bible. He's like on his way to like chapel, thinking it's the morning. And he gets outside, and kind of like you could just see him kind of go, "Wait, what is happening?" And
that's awesome.
He asked the kid, "What time is it?" 6 o'clock.
That's awesome.
So
good old church camps, man.
I miss those guys.
Yeah. Youth camps are awesome. But yeah, we got back from youth. It's Momentum Youth Conference. So it's Momentum Youth Partners are I think it's Akron, Ohio. They've been around for a long, long time and doing this conference. And so this was our first year that we did it. And it's at Indiana Wesleyan University, which is nice because you're staying in dorms.
Yeah.
Until then you realize they can just be in the hallway all night too, in front of your door making noise.
You can't lock them in their rooms.
And doors slamming. I guess I asked. You're not allowed to lock them in your room. But
it's like a fire hazard or something.
You can't block stuff off. And there's 2,400 kids there. 10 hours of sleep probably across all those 2,400 kids out of the whole week. 10 hours of sleep. It's no joke, man. But, it was a great week, though.
Yeah. So give us a little bit of idea of like why you do this, right? You're saying that no one's getting any sleep. We just shared a bunch of like crazy stories that happen. They probably come back. All they talk about is the fun things. But like, why? What's the thought behind it? Like, why do you get students away from their families?
Yeah.
Into a conference? What?
Yeah, so there's two reasons really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first one is the spiritual impact on the kid, the thing that we're most wanting for when we go there. And I mean, just to share with you guys something really cool is 2 of the 9 students that went accepted Christ in their life for the very first time and stood up and went to the front and accepted Jesus in their life, which that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
that's really cool. So if you are a teen or you have students, like these camps have a way of really building a spiritual impact that can last a really long time. This camp the theme was invitation, because Jesus is always inviting and always giving invitations to follow him and what that means. And the whole idea is that, you don't have to figure it out on your own. Just come to me and help me, because I think that's the thing with teenagers, because a lot of it was based on, some of you here may have that sin or that secret that you think you can't let anyone know about, that's holding you back, that Jesus can give you freedom from that, but you have to come to him first, that invitation. So that spiritual impact, I mean, kids accepting Christ, we had kids stand up saying like, man, like I feel like I haven't been on it, I want to like start like recommit, and I'm like I want to do this. And then there was one night, it was a worship night, awesome, just night of worship, and like the 9 kids we had, all middle school, younger, there's at one point I just looked down our aisle and all of them just had their hands raised, just singing, and it was a great time. And they ended the night with talking about what's the one thing that's holding you back from going all in with Christ. And they wrote it on the note, and 2,400 kids walked down the front and dropped their note at the foot of the cross, which that's something that's been done for a long time. But it's also super impactful. Think like what Christ did here on the cross can set you free.
Well, you got 9 kids that are seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
Seeing other kids their age going down and committing their life to Jesus. I mean, I got to do those things when I was a kid. It's a powerful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
And there was something being in a room full of people and realizing this is more than just me. It's more than our youth group.
Yeah.
It's more than just a gathering. The spiritual impact is the first thing. I mean, those kids, they get to hear great speakers, listen to some great music, but then also make new friends that may be on a different level of maturity spiritually than them, that they get to talk to and realize, oh man, this is awesome. Now I have this friend that I can talk to that's not at my church.
Yeah.
Exchange numbers. So I'd say the first big why is that right there is the spiritual impact. So the second thing was relationally. What's funny is you talked about the different dynamics of groups.
Yeah.
What's funny is I think we may have been the youngest group there.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, all of our kids were middle school, but it was awesome. But the weird dynamic about it is all these kids have friends in youth groups, but it seems like none of their friends from youth group came. It was 9 kids that, some of them are friends, but by the time this week was over, they were best friends and great friends. And so that's what I always try to relate to the parents a lot is, man, if you want to help establish relationships in your students' lives that are going to be impactful, that are going to be a positive Christian relationship, and you want them to be close in youth group, those trips are very important because there's something about getting a van together and stopping at gas stations, making Walmart runs.
Sometimes that's the most memories are made in the just the van ride. You know?
And by the time you get back, you know how good it was by how many crumbs and empty cans. And,
did you have to vacuum it out?
Oh yeah, yesterday. Well, I didn't. I was like, here's a vacuum kit. Just vacuum this out. So that's the biggest thing, and that's what I love seeing as a youth pastor too, because this whole Momentum Conference is an idea of, man, we want to build momentum here in their spiritual lives, but also take that momentum to their youth groups, to their church, to their community. And so seeing them like friends, one of the things I think about is man, this could be it's help build momentum in our own youth group of these kids that are man, we grew so close together and we want to bring this back to our group.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Great. I agree. And I think that one of my favorite parts of trips like that, or really just getting the students away for a few days or a week, is there's something like getting out of your comfort zone as a middle school, high school student, that things can happen there that you could never do at home or in your own youth group. It's getting them away and getting them away from all those distractions, all those influences that they have here, and just, immersing them in community and immersing them in a structure of God's word and worship that could transform a group. We'd often use our summer mission trip to pass the torch for all the seniors that we had to whatever next group was going to rise up. We would do a lot of that, and so I always loved those trips. Hated it when I got home because I was way exhausted, but it's worth it.
It is worth it.
All the pain is worth it.
That last night, I literally got 0 hours, 0 minutes of sleep, just because the last night they all catch their second wind and we want to spend all night and doing stuff, and so it was loud. But
it'd be nice if the
though.
church acknowledged that you just did that, but no, you're here on Monday doing a podcast and getting right back to all your meetings and everything.
I slept a lot yesterday.
Youth group works around the church's schedule sometimes.
It's true. But all in all, great trip. We have plans to go back next year, so we're just hoping. We took 12 this year. I'm let's take 24 to 30 next year.
Awesome.
And just build that momentum and keep doing this kind of stuff.
I think you're aiming too low.
Huh?
500,000.
Oh,
500,000
okay,
students.
I thought we were going really big.
You heard it here.
If you live in Centerville and age 6th to 12th grade, you're coming with us to Momentum next year.
We might need to include the Dayton and Cincinnati area if we're going to get to 500,000.
500,000. Right, man. how many 12-passenger vans do you need? I don't know if budget.
That's easy math.
Well, it's easy math. Does budget have enough 12-passenger vans?
Well, they don't ever seem to have one when we
Budget,
need it.
if you're
so
listening, purchase another
we'll make it worth
200,000
your
vans. We'll
Trust
make it
me,
worth your while.
we'll rent
yeah,
them.
We'll
We'll
rent them.
rent
You can
all
count
of
that
them.
as a guarantee.
So we would actually need
You did the math.
41,667 vans.
Are you including 2 liters per van, though?
More math.
So times that by
Oh.
2.
Stick that
Add
in your
that
pipe
to the
and smoke it,
512,
Matt.
and then
I'm done.
He's done now.
Oh no! But it was a great week. I was exhausted though, man. Like so tired. Like that last night, and I was just laying in bed at like 3 or 4 a.m. thinking, why do I do this? But then like when you get in the van and they're all just and you're like, this is why I do this. Like when I came back yesterday and they were all in the youth group just talking to each other and excited. And we have a great picture of
every
them.
muscle in your whole body is
It's
telling you to go to
hurting.
sleep.
And I feel like I'm going to throw up because I'm so tired. But then we have the best picture of the front row that some of the Momentum kids were sitting in youth group yesterday, and all of them were sleeping during the message yesterday.
Well, I'm just going to brag on Andrew for a moment. He literally got back from the conference, came right to church, and then immediately I brought new families to him to like pitch them the youth group and tell them about how
Wait,
awesome it is.
there was church?
Yeah, I'm not sure if what I said or
He was
if I
not
said-
aware of what he was saying.
I had to preface everything like I haven't slept yet, so just take that with a grain of salt. And this is why I look crazy right now.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah. We got a lot of good stuff coming up in
Good.
youth, though. So I
Yeah.
want to share a little
Let's hear-
bit,
yeah,
just
let's hear
coming
about
up,
it.
just real fast. Talking about youth ministry stuff. One of the big, we always do one event each month just to get them out. Like you said,
Yeah.
there's something about getting them out and doing stuff. But this next month on August 2nd, we're doing our wrap up, our summer wrap up. Which I know they don't want to start thinking
Right.
about summer wrapping up, but it's crazy to think like school's going to be in a few weeks.
That's it. It is.
A few weeks. So August 2nd, though, to like finish off the summer, we're hosting a concert here and opening up to all the youth groups around us because we want to be able to just give a cool event for youth pastors just to bring their groups to. It's Saint Roxar. She's a female Christian rapper. Then we have Safe Gep, who is a Christian rock band out of Marion, Ohio. And then DeMac, who lives here in Dayton. He's performed here. They're all going to perform solely, but then the Mac and Safe Kept are going to do a rock rap
Awesome.
combined thing. There's going to be a message given, and then they're going to come up and end in worship.
Yeah.
So I can't think of a better way to wrap up the summer than inviting youth groups around us and just like, worshiping together and just praying going into the new year.
So you said rock rap, and I immediately thought like Linkin Park. Is
Would that be
kinda
awesome? I think it is a little, and that's exactly how I described it. He's like, hey, that hybrid album with Jay-Z and Linkin Park. He's like, that's what we're thinking
What would
for
you
this.
consider the Beastie Boys? Just more rap.
So
Little bit of
I don't
both.
listen to sinful music. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Here's the thing with music genres is
Yeah.
often the lines between things get blurred,
Because
and
the rap country is becoming a lot more popular.
yeah, that's
Which
an
I don't like
abomination.
nearly
It
as
is-
much.
abomination.
It ruins rap and it ruins country. Those two, like
I don't know.
think-
It makes country more listenable to me.
No,
Is that
I
a word?
don't
Is that a
think
word?
so.
Because I don't really. I love the thought of being like listening to country, but I just don't. My ears just don't like it a lot.
Well,
I like old school country, like
So this is what it is. Is it like we've moved? There was real country, right? Then there is we had the emergence of like country pop, which is fine. There's some good stuff in it.
Thank
but,
you, Taylor Swift.
But it's not even like her. It's like
Luke Bryan.
yeah,
She's-
Luke Bryan,
she's moved past,
So you have this whole
country pop.
thing, and then now that somehow has moved from like it's not like they're merging country and rap. They're merging country pop with rap, and rap and pop fit well together. So it's like, but it I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
What do you like?
Songs
Jesus.
about Jesus.
I like Jesus. So no.
Once again, what do you like?
Cheesecake.
Okay.
Ooh. Cheesecake.
All right, fair enough.
City barbecue.
Take that answer.
City
I'm hungry.
barbecue. Cheesecake factory. Never mind. I'm not going to get into that. That would
So
just
that's
get
exciting.
Off topic.
And like you said, like we do those kind of events because it gives kids something to look forward to.
And I think to invite friends.
invite
too.
friends. It's a great invite type event, and to hear someone who is artist performing who's also a Christian, that's really big for students, because if you listen to any music today, you're not really going to find that in the popular music that exists.
I'm just going to say this, like there's a little bit of this thought process that if it's a Christian concert, it's not going to be as cool or as fun as like another concert. But
DeMac puts on a good show.
DeMac puts on a really good show. If you were here for
Gets
the last
the crowd,
one,
like he's almost like really really good at getting the
it
crowd
was
going.
up there in terms of the best like in a church Christian concert things I've ever
Walking
been to.
cold
really
into a
good.
room of like a bunch of ragtag students.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, like he's
I saw students
really
that
good
like
at that.
I don't ever get any reaction
And he
from.
lo-
Like
I heard he like sold out his like merchandise table too.
I don't know. I know he
something like
sold a
that.
bunch of
his
it.
merch is
Like,
cool too. He's got like
Just shows you
teddy
how much
bears
they
and
liked
stuff.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real cool.
The homies is what it calls those
homies?
little stuffed animals with like the Mac shirts.
They're
the
awesome.
homies.
I'm gonna be honest. When I walked in and I saw his merch table, I'm like, "What is going on here? Who did Andrew book for this show?"
Oh,
So
no,
I've never seen anything like that.
He really does, man, and that's why I
And
brought him here because I've seen
he's
him a
great.
few times. I'm like,
He's
the
great.
thing about the Mac that he's just so good is he gets them involved, and like they're like
That was the best part.
It's an
I'm like, his
experience.
music is good too, but
Yeah.
I mean, his
Yeah.
crowd participation and just like being able to get everybody excited about what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's really good at that.
Like the kids get to experience it with
Yes.
them. That's the whole thing. He wants to be an experience and not just a show that
Yeah.
you watch. So August 2nd, 6 to 8, be here at the gathering. Invite your friends. Any youth groups in this area, come. 6th to 12th grade. It's going to be awesome.
Yep, for sure. All right, last thing we wanted to talk about with you is that we hear rumors that maybe middle school, high school are splitting.
Yeah, so a little bit of rumbling is going
Rumblings.
on. It's
I got some
rumblings.
rumblings in my tumblings.
It's causing rumblings in my stomach. No. So for the last couple of years, we knew that growing the youth group, this is going to be a direction.
Yeah.
Our leaders we have a great team of leaders, about 15 that we meet and talk about the future of the youth group, where it's headed. And this is we knew that this was coming. That August 11th, we're going to be splitting middle school and high school, and we're creating an awesome high school room here in the office. And don't fret, it's going to all be at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
We have an actually really cool plan for this office. There's going to be a coffee bar. We already got the espresso machine.
When you say this office, the church is
The church is all. I'm
office.
pointing right behind me because it's
Yeah.
right here, but you don't know that. That's the office
right
behind
behind
me.
us.
Office.
The office. So
Yeah.
they're gonna be split. It's gonna be same time, 11. I'm gonna be teaching both, or whoever's teaching that day will be teaching both, starting with high school and then going to middle school. And then we have great leaders that are gonna be in the rooms doing all the other stuff as well. So
Yeah.
something we're really excited about, something we knew moving forward. And I know our high schoolers are getting pumped for it. So
Yeah. So can you just talk to us a little bit about what's the importance of that? Like, why should a parent care? Why should the church care that we're splitting middle school and high school? How is that important for students? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's a great question. I mean, because that's the why behind it is the big thing. And so, youth ministry, I always said the hardest thing about youth ministry, and this, is like when they're combined 6th or 12th grade, and you're on stage and you see a 6th grader and a 12th grader.
Yeah.
You can't get two different
They're in different worlds.
ballparks
Yeah.
of what they know, what they're thinking, even physically, right? Like
Yeah.
physically, spiritually, and mentally, they're in different places. And so, as you're trying to speak to them, it's like, how can I talk to both of them where they're at and what they're thinking? And so the big why is they're just different, and they are different. And so this allows us to split them and be able to, talk to them, engage with them. So with the high school, they don't need all the games and stuff that middle schoolers need. So we can do the lesson, and they have more time for small group where they can sit around and talk to each other about the lesson, talk about the lives. Where middle school will get the, do the games up front, and then I'm going to teach a more open discussion type lesson with them, where they're going to get to engage with the lesson more instead of having them sit around talking to each other. So there's just a difference.
Yeah.
Very big difference. And so we believe, and we've seen it, a lot of churches have been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And it works out really well for the youth groups that do it, that split them. So that way the high schoolers can get their space, the middle schoolers can get their space, and we can minister to them a lot more effectively that way. So
Yeah. So for parents, they already care. For the rest of the church, it's important because we are raising up the next generation. and we want to do that in the most effective way possible. So that's a really cool step, and one that I know will have lots of fruit
Oh,
in
yeah.
the future.
That's what we hope and pray for, man.
Yeah.
Is that these kids, like you said, are the ones that are the leaders and youth pastors of the future, or in the marketplace as a businessman and lawyer, but still doing ministry in those places because of what they've been rooted in. So
Great. Well, that's all we got time for today. So we will be back here next Wednesday, and we will see you then. Thanks.
see you.